Greetings to everyone, to the venerables, Bhikkhu, Bhikkhunis, the honored guests, and then everyone out there in the whole universe and universe beyond too. So I am very honored to be here today. Thank you very much for the invitation. Also, congratulations on 30 years of amazing work of Buddhistdoor Global. We look forward to more partnerships in the future. I am from the International Network of Engaged Buddhists, or INEB. We are located in Bangkok, although we have, we don't call our friends members. We don't have that. It's not a membership-based organization. It's an engagement-based organization. So if you want to be part of INEB, let's do some work together. And that's how we create the community of Kalyana Mitra. INEB was founded in 1989, so 36 years ago. Ajahn Sulak Sivaraksa and Buddhist thinkers and social activists at the time saw the needs to bring social activism together with the spiritual practice. And that's how INEB was born. And then for the last 36 years, that's what we've done. Socially engaged Buddhist work. We look at the structural suffering. We address the cause, root cause of the issues. We work together for a just and peaceful and healthy society. So I have a lot of slides, so I'm going to skip a lot of them. I'm also timing myself, so I will end on time. Okay. I already mentioned that we are engagement-based, we're rooted in Kalyana Mitra, structural suffering, and all that. And then we have a lot of projects. We do a lot of things at INEB, but we kind of think of our work as in these 4 areas: transformative learning, inclusivity and diversity, social justice and peace, and ecology and economy. Today, I want to share with you 2 projects, 2 programs that INEB have been doing. And my point in presenting these 2 programs is that we really believe strongly in that personal connection. Of course, we are now in the age of very quick news, and within seconds we know what happened. But still, for the work to take a deep root, we need that personal connection. We need to sit in the same room and listen for the suffering of the people. It's that vibration, that heartfelt connection that make the work sustainable. So I'm gonna skip this. Here, the first program, Sangha for Peace. This was, oops, sorry, back. Okay. Monastics, monks, nuns, bhikkhunis, lay activists from Myanmar, Thailand, and Sri Lanka came together, and we spent 4 years together. Deep listening, reflections, transformative learning, and the impact was done through action plans and in solidarity with the marginalized. The way we are together is we would go to Sri Lanka, to Thailand, to Malaysia, and we met with people who are suffering in the communities. So, for example, when we were in Sri Lanka, we had a meeting with the Tamil communities, and then at the end of the meeting, we learned that what we were taught in school, that the Tamil are the enemy of Buddhism, that is not right. And then many of these are my heroines. I really have the highest respect for all of them, for all the work that they do. This is at the end of our first gathering in 2022. It happens to be Pride Parade next day in Bangkok. And we were like, let's do some solidarity posts. And of course, it's very uncomfortable. And that's how we oftentimes there are difficult things that we talk about. So you can see that maybe some of us are not so comfortable holding the flag up high, but so that after this gathering, one of these venerables realized that there's issues of the LGBTQ people in their community that were oppressed, that had a lot of suffering, and that had no access to spiritual refuge. So the Venerable went back and then started to work with the communities to bring access to the LGBT communities, and also to talk about gender equality and all those other important things that has now been a strong program over there. I'm gonna skip this. These are the individual projects that was an action plan of the folks. And we will, here is the photo of the Solidarity Walk in Sri Lanka. And you can see that this is an interfaith group. These monks, the Buddhist monks, as they walked, they were condemned. It's like, why are you walking with the Muslims? Why are you walking with other people? Why are you sitting on the floor eating? So this takes a lot of courage, but it's the strong belief in the work that we do, that peace is not just on paper or on the internet, but it's here, personal connection. In Thailand, we have a program for monks to visit, to see how the poor people live. They have to come, and then every day their livelihood depends on picking up these used clothes to sell on the street. And for many monks, it's the first time they realize that. Empowerment of the nuns in Myanmar. And here is another project, child protection. So in about 2023, we started to work on the issues of young novices along the border. A lot of them are from Myanmar, and many of them are also stateless. So these children would cross the border to Thailand and become ordained so that they have a place to stay, they have food, they have shelter, they have education. And what we're doing is we're working with the communities to make sure that they are well protected. Okay, and we here at INEP, we are actually now the representative of the Global Network of Religions for Children, Thailand, so GNRC Thailand, working to bring religious actors together to protect children's rights, and then work in partnership with university, with the government, with other temples. We have a project Little Buddha that was funded by partly by Hosan Alan Sanoki from Clearview Project. And we did some research on my grandchildren, the young novices. There are maybe more than 1,300 novices in the north, in 2 provinces of Chiang Mai and Lamphun. And we're creating a national effort to protect them, making sure that the temples is a safe place for them. A lot of activities with young novices, and you see that there's a girl here as well. She's actually acting as an interpreter for the young novices. Here, just a gathering of a training program. About 30% of the Myanmar refugees are children, and they escaped from war, from the military conscription, meaning if they're, they would be arrested and then the military would take them into the army. So many of them escaped that. Some of them are from Thailand but have no paperwork because they are of the minority hill tribes. We are working with them. To begin with, we work with this population. There's activities, group activities, artwork, hands-on, like here they're building the adobe home, so making bricks. So, you know, beyond seeing them as novices, these are children, and these children need to know that they are safe, that they have a future, and that, you know, they're not, it's not natural for them to just study all the time. So we need playtime for them. We need them to explore, it's basically an empowerment program for children. And many of the feedback that we receive from them is that they feel that there is hope now, versus seeing this as just like an escape place. But here now they have a future. And just a few days ago, August 25th, we had a signing, a national cooperation with the government, with UNICEF, with the university. So a lot of these people come together, and now it's going to be a national policy in Thailand to protect children at temples or and also, you know, in other religious institutes. But we begin with the Buddhist temples. These are the faces of the children. This is how they see themselves, and they want to be happy, and we are here to make sure that they are as well. If you see this tree on the right, this is a big, healthy tree, no? When this tree was young, it had all the right, it was in the right environment, the soil was good, the moisture, the sunlight, and that's how this tree can grow to be strong with no obstruction, nothing in the way. And the same way, we want the children to be able to grow, to become strong adults, so that once they're old, they can provide shades and then to help others to grow. Yeah. Okay, last picture. This is from Sangha for Peace. We took this picture without we just happened to be together, and let's take one last photo on a beach in Sri Lanka. But when I look at it, there's a bhikkhuni, a bhikkhu, a lay activist, LGBT folks. We are all together on the same line. There is no hierarchy there. We are together as peace builders, and we're looking towards the golden light. So that's how I will end this presentation. And together, all of us can make a better world. And thank you, Buddhistdoor Global, for being part of this. Thank you.